Hi guys, it's MicheleMarieDalene, and today I wanted to talk to you briefly with Lummy about a couple of messages I received on my YouTube videos, and also to let you know how we're doing with the convocation, and to apologize for the fact that we did not get any morning rituals in. I mean, morning rituals in the concept of. Now I got a whole bunch of videos, and these comments, and these all come from some of the videos. Now we normally do our Ask Us Anything, but these I'm going to consider these more of Ask You about these questions, because some of these are actually pretty nice, and some of them are pretty downright nasty. I'm going to get to all of them in order here. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard. The first one says here, this comes from, let me zoom in here. Jaggers fall. I can't wait for winter to come because of you. Well, thank you. But we got a lot of work to do to fix the problems that we're having, so don't expect it's going to always necessarily go well. And then this person responds, says, I can't feel my legs. Obviously a spoof from, what's his name there? Olaf from, Frozen. And this is from Taco Man 2424. Now, I don't understand, why he says that he said here, but that's not the main issues I want to particularly get at. Okay, he also, Taco Man. Actually, I don't think it's so much Taco Man. It says here, I am amazing work. I'm your biggest fan. I have made a fan group. Well, that'd be the second fan group. Yeah, the second one. The other one is in Albania, which is not even an area I work. Exactly. Okay, so now, after this, we're going to explain a few things about the ritual we need to address. But I'm just going to go through these real quick here. Jaggers Fall says, go to a dentist. And he also says, and then of course he mentions Father Yahweh, and then he also, Taco Man, can I be in your next video? I love you. This is from Taco Man 2424. I don't know, Taco Man. I don't even know where you're located. To have you in the video, I would probably be willing to have you in the video if you would, if you're willing to come to Connecticut. Although it's may be a trip to get here. I don't know where you are, so listen, man. I think you meant listen, lady. Go to a dentist, or there will be problems. Are you threatening me? This is what it sounds like. Oh, we'll talk about the dentist in a second. We will, okay. But we'll take a break now. Okay, first of all, Jaggers Fall. I have already told you guys over and over again that I have a Patreon and a GoFundMe project for cover just that. There's a dental GoFundMe to talk about fixing my teeth. I do not live in a socialist country where dentists are free. They cost money. To get this tooth fixed, they need to reshape this as a button for a bridge. Okay? That is going to cost about, to get the bridge done for the front tooth, is going to cost about $2,200 US. I have to pay for that out of my own pocket. Okay, that's a lot of money. Now, if you guys would like to see this tooth fixed, including I want this fixed too. Trust me, and you get a bridge here, or an implant. Implant's even more money than a bridge. I have to get about $2,400 in the GoFundMe.com/BICHLA. There's actually, there's two projects. One is for the studio and one is for the teeth. If you donate money to this teeth one, and we can get up to $2,400, I can contact my dentist and we can begin to work. Otherwise, don't complain, because I don't have the $2,400 in my back pocket. It's just not a socialist country. I do not get free dental. Okay, so if you want my teeth fixed, other than basic routine cleanings and stuff, I have to pay for that out of my own pocket. There is no way I can afford to put down the thousands of dollars needed to fix this tooth. And that's the front tooth. The back tooth has broken half and slid out like a piece of, quarrying a piece of granite. And the good live tooth is still there. It's the root is maybe about a millimeter underneath the dentin. It's actually does not hurt. Thank God for small favors. But it is definitely got to be fixed. And the dentist already said he has to pull it. That's fine. That's dandy. But it's going to cost me about $2,400 to $3,600 to do the work. Because that's going to cost a lot of money either, just to fix that tooth. So you're talking almost $5,000 just to fix two big problems. Okay? Now, the good news is the rest of my teeth are fine, but $5,000 is a lot of money. And since we do not live in a socialist country, we do not have socialist medicine. And I don't have the kind of money coming in to pay for that. If I was in Finland or Sweden, I could have gotten this teeth fixed, or even Germany. I could have gotten this teeth fixed for a pretty good price, if anything. But here in the United States, this is not the way it works in this country. I know there's a lot of people who think that the U.S. gives free medical, free dental. It's not a socialist country. We do not have socialist medicine. And so that's one of the reasons why I am seriously thinking about, if I can get the resources together, I want to get the hell out of this country, because the fact is I can't get the medical care I need. And that's just an example of the two major glaring things that you can see. The third thing, the reason I want to get the hell out of this country, has to do with the political situation, and we can discuss that in a minute. But I want to talk to you briefly about the trolls. Now, Jurgen's Fall, you say that you see me as a fan, and yet you kind of made that last message that sounded like a threat. I must assure you that I certainly took it as one. I always said to people, if you don't like the way something is, do something about it. I have always been open-minded to everybody and said, look, I have a tip jar. If everybody could just drop $1 into the tip jar, maybe we can finally get the things done that should have been done. Right now, there is no socialism. The United States is not a socialist country. Despite all the things that Abomination wants to make it, okay? It's never going to be a socialist country. This is a Republican country, and this is a country where you're basically going to bust your ass and make it happen. And if you don't like it, go to Sweden, or go to England, or go to Spain. I can't tell you any more than that, except to say there are things in this country I do admit I do not like, and there are things in this country I do like. I do not like the fact is that the poor and the disenfranchised in this country are getting the shaft. I mean, seriously, we make less than a living wage. How on that? Okay, I don't mean to go on and make this into a political opinion editorial piece, but pardon my French, fuck it, I'm on it. You guys, all my fans who have been with me for a few years, know that I have done everything I can to advocate for the disenfranchised, and I'm going to continue to do that. But if you don't like the way my goddamn teeth look, why don't you guys give me a little helping hand here? It's so easy. I give you a million ways to donate. It's not like you can't say, oh, gee, I don't know where to send the tip to. You can send it to GoFundMe, you can send it to Patreon, you can send it to PayPal, you can even mail me a money order. There's no excuse. Until if you don't like something, either play up or something to make it happen, or shut up, okay? Period. It's not extreme. No, it's not. It's not extreme. I'm just telling the straight out truth. This is ridiculous. Now, I got a lot of other projects burning on the back burner, and I'm going to give them to you the detail updates into some of them right now. Okay, the core of the convocation is going to be a 2-part convocation for the reason that we didn't mention. The first part is going to be, I like to think of it kind of like when you go into a drive-in movie theater, it has a double feature. The first part is going to be a family general type of convocation. Very simple, very light, very easygoing, like soft rock. No really major scary stuff, okay? Best way to go. And also, based on that and how that goes, we're going to have to develop the energy up to build to the crescendo for part 2, which potentially can make extremely dangerous. I'm not going to lie about this. When I say extremely dangerous, we're dealing with a lot of etheric energy, and that could potentially, I don't even know how to describe it. I can visualize the energy. I can explain it to myself, but to explain it to the public is going to be very hard. The second part is definitely is parental discretion is advised. If you decide to stay for part 2, you may see some very unusual events. No, we're not going to rip somebody's heart out of their chest or anything like that. Thank God, no. But it's just, there's just so much energy that is going to be focused and concentrated on me. And I will be acting as the aerial and radiating the energy outward from all the energy that it collects from the ground and the spirit around me. It's concentrated towards the clouds, that you may possibly see lightning bolts come out of my head. That's how much energy we're talking about. Not at all a very, what are you doing? Not at all a very comfortable thing to be, and certainly with that much energy could cause a lot of frightening, fearful things for everybody. So I'm not suggesting if you get discommoded from the first ceremony, which is very light, do not stay for the second part. Okay? And because things can get just a little bit too wild. Now, I also have found out that under the new YouTube arrangements with some copyright holders, I can use certain songs that I could not use a couple years ago in my last convocation. One of them was by Edie Gourmet and Steve Lawrence called Happy Holidays. We will be using that this year. Its procedure is very simple. It's not going to require me to worry about copyright content strikes. As long as, one, I'm not trying to monetize the video, which I'm not anyway, okay? Number 2, I got to get some respectful credit to the artists. I have no problem with that. Apparently, YouTube decided to listen to the complaints of all of us creators and cut in contact with the Fox agency and arrange for non-profit copyright use of the music for us. So that solves part of the problem. Plus, we also have access to their free YouTube-specific copyright music, including, I'm going to be using some from Jingle Punks, which is called We Wish You a Merry Christmas, and a few other sets. And, of course, I am going to be singing to Idina Menzel's Let It Go from Frozen. That is definitely something I've been wanting to do since the film came out. I waited until the new copyright system was created, or set up for YouTube, so I could finally do it. I'm going to do it. In this year, I'm not saying I'm a great singer. I'm certainly sound better than Roseanne Barr, but I'm not great. At least I'm not going to make a mockery out of Let It Go. Okay? No, Roseanne Barr, that's a story for all you older Jenners, me included, graduated in 1987. You know this story. She was at the Super Bowl. She sang, the national anthem, but she turned into a mockery, and a lot of Americans got very angry about that all those years ago. Because she apologized, and she said part of the problem is I didn't even know all the words to the national anthem. Okay. I do know the words to Let It Go. And I've been practicing it for years. Since it came out. And I've been listening to it since. I sing it almost every day. So I know the song pretty well. I'm looking forward to this. I really, really hope that with the etheric energy buildup we can do, that we can do exactly what we have to do to get this cold weather to come back home. And I really miss it, and I really, really want to make this work. And so I'm going to continue to push the envelope, and if I have to, I may have to do some more personal sacrifices, which I'm not going to go into right now. I want to say is, they may seem a little bit extreme, but, look guys, this is winter, okay? This is my season. I live for the season. Out of the other 9 months of the year, I'm more or less just tolerating it. And the winter is my season, and this is what I really love. And I love winter. I love Christmas. I love Yule. I love, even though it's not really Christmas, winter, but screw it, I'm doing it anyway. I love Thanksgiving, and I love the Epiphany, and I love Valentine's Day, and my birthday, which is on the 13th, and Lemmy's birthday is on the 11th, and New Year's. And all the small holidays in between. I love this time of year. This is my favorite time. But this El Nino is just created so much problems for me that I absolutely positively don't know if I'm coming or going. Okay, emotionally, I am really feeling like a tossed salad right now. Because part of me just I feel so depressed. Not because of not because it's winter. That doesn't depress me. But the lack of snow does. And it doesn't feel Christmassy. Okay? That's another whole together topic. We'll talk to that in this next topic. But for right now, I'm just trying to say I'm trying to do the best I can to make this whole ritual work out. And it's taken a lot of work because I don't have helpers. Dory and I are the only two setting this up. We'd love to have another person. If we could find somebody who would help us set up everything, okay? And then after we set everything up, the lights, the camera, the sound system, the candles, the altar, all that, then I have to go upstairs and get into my formal regalia, and then I have to come down here again at the grand opening, grand entrance, and that's where it gets tricky, because now who's going to start the music? Well, I can, sorta, but that means that I have to have the MP3 player upstairs, don't I? And so I've got to start from upstairs, and then Dory can do it, but Dory is not that technically inclined. You're talking about she would have to learn how to activate a musical interface she's never used. Okay? So this is a whole new challenge to Dory. I really need a sound person. I really gotta stress that. I really need a sound person because this is just so much stuff going on. I have to tell you, it's difficult. Now, you can see I brought the camera a little closer to me. Just for the fun of it. Diet Coke, right? Now, what's the next thing? You were going to say something, but I can't remember what it was. I know, Michelle's just has verbal diarrhea. She's just spitting it out. More like inducing vomiting. Okay, whatever. Okay, so... Okay, next thing. I did contact WFSB TV News. I haven't heard from them yet. So I don't know what the story is. if they're going to do an interview or not for Christmas. Yule. Now Yule's is going to be starting on 7 o'clock Eastern time. It's actually several $100 Universal Coronation time, which is December 22nd. It's the 22nd this year. Okay? So we do have a time issue here. Nothing really severely extreme, but it needs to be addressed. I've got a few days to get everything organized, and it's taking a while. Okay, oh yes, the lights. Okay, now let's talk about that. I wanted to dress up the porch a little bit so that you can see some Christmas lights on the porch. So as you can see me coming down the porch, you'll see some lights on the railing. I actually had to go find some my Christmas lights. I found a lot of burnt out light bulbs in the set, and I had to replace almost 40 light bulbs and a whole string of lights. When they were up here around this room for almost 5 years, and I guess we had a couple power surges that burned out a lot of the cheaper bulbs, and so we had to replace them. And we put the new bulbs in, and they're all set to go. And then we had one problem with one of the strings. We didn't know why it wasn't working. So originally we were going to go ahead and just use the short end of the light string. We decided to use the longer string instead. But really, now I said to myself, I want more lights than that. So I went ahead and I bought another, because they were on sale, another box of the same brand of light bulbs, incandescents, mini lights, the M5 size. And they're really cool. I mean, they're just standard little mini lights, incandescent ones. So they have 3 strings of 100 bulbs. Each string is 50 lights to a string, to a branch. So pretty cool. The problem I'm running into is that it's a lot of light bulbs, and it's a lot of time, and it's a lot of effort to get all these things working. And but I got almost all the strings working because I had enough bulbs between, because they're all the same length strings really, to make a working string because they're old color bulbs. That was a job. There was so many bulbs that were burned out that by the time I was done replacing all the burned out bulbs, see, you gotta understand something about how these little mini lights work, just so you understand, okay? They're wired in series, so if one bulb goes out, the whole string goes out. Does not make it easy to fix the damn thing. I sat there, even though some of the bulbs have shunts, okay? I sat there, at first I did my best to get the bulbs to work. Okay, one string, the bulb did not even have a shunt. Okay, so when the bulb went out completely, the whole string went out. It was like the bulb basically acted as a final fuse and basically blew, and then the rest, because there was so many burned out bulbs, that the bulb burned out and that whole string went out. I did finally get fixed. After I swapped bulbs around all night, it took me, I think, a total of about 6 hours to finally get everything debugged, tested, and working, and I was emotionally drained. Then, but at the same time, I was exhilarated and felt great. But I said to myself, gee, I kind of really wonder what happened if I put LEDs into these old strings. And so I started to work on that as an idea. As one of the strings has no bulbs in it at all, except for a few. I said, what would happen if I put into that string standard LEDs, properly wired, proper polarity and everything, replacing all those little mini midget bulbs. Great idea, right? Not quite, but great idea, but it's not going to work because, you see, here's the problem. LEDs are directional lighting, okay? they are not quite suitable for some things. And since I'll try it, maybe I can make so many LEDs with incandescent bulbs, because they have to bring down a certain forward voltage or reverse voltage on the LEDs, and can also regulate the current. So some of the standard incandescent bulbs can be used in the string, so you can kind of make a hybrid string. Might probably cause some people to go into a seizure. I don't know, but anyway, that's an idea. But then again, maybe rather not. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Now, the next thing is it was decided, my mother agreed to it, that it would be best to have a microphone that was actually more or less in the circle so that the public can hear me. We chose to use the Pile PDMic one. That's the one we're using right now. With a twist. I never always talked about this microphone much, really. You just know I use it on remote videos. But let's talk about the microphone first, because this microphone we have wired up now is a dual impedance microphone. So it actually works both high and low impedance. Right now I'm using it as a very low impedance on a high impedance connection. That may sound stupid, it just happened to be the way I wire up the transformer inside. I really should rewire the transformer again, but I'm not going to bother, because I don't usually use it in this way. I'm using it right now, which is unbalanced, but I'm using unbalanced for this test because I need to make sure my mixer still works. My SSM1250's microphone hardly ever gets in use, so I plugged it into the SSM1250. And you can hear it's working okay. Maybe it's not as great as it could be, but it's working, and the rest of the equipment has been put away. It's packed up to go downstairs for the ritual. The audio gear is packed away in bags and it's ready to go downstairs, including our portable voice music power amp, which is going to be the cornerstone of the audio. I also tested... why not? I tested the JBL speaker with the voice music power amp. That baby is really, really loud. The JBL speakers are beautiful speakers. They are $700 each, so I'm not taking them outside because people steal shit, okay? I'm not going to take it outside because I don't want to see these speakers trashed. I'm going to use the cheap, crappy ones I got from my old stereo because they're cheap. They're inexpensive, and they're still good, and they got a good SPL, and it's not going to be a problem for what we're using them for anyway, so I think most people are going to do fine. But if we want to use the other fancy speakers, then we're going to need to work very hard to keep those needs in mind. Also, they're very closely match the amplifier output, which is 12 watts, to the amplifier. The speakers are 12 watts. Very nicely loud speakers. Good, as I said, the SPL, isn't it? This SPL, which is, and I think it's close to 100 decibels per 1 watt of input power. Very good efficiency, not a problem. Of course, we know that the standard voice music amplifier has got an excellent single-ended 636 amplifier. Really, really nice. Now we got it cleaned up, and the tubes are good, and the ESR is good on the electrolytic, and it's great, it's nice, it jams, it's loud, and no one has a problem with it. I don't. So I've actually, it's a very beautiful amp for single-ended. I'm actually thinking to myself, if I can find another innards or even find another matching voice music amplifier of the same model, I could probably use them as two mono blocks for stereo setup, and that would be almost equal to the sound design stereo I'm using right now, which is actually about the same output, about 12 watts per channel, so about combined about 24 watts. That's pretty cool. Of course, you can also bridge them together. Well, yeah, you can bridge them together, sure, absolutely. Two mono blocks, absolutely, you can bridge them, you can have them, because you'd be able to pump out 12 watts per channel, so yeah, two amplifiers set to the same volume levels and everything. It will basically be equivalent of additive bridging as long as it's in phase, and so they won't be out of phase. circuit. Yes, that's absolutely true. So, Jurgen's fault. I really want you to know. I really want you to be happy with me. I don't. I never talked much about the people of Albania. I really have not heard from them lately. John Cross has not got back to me. I do not have the information anymore of how the community is doing because they haven't said nothing to me. So as soon as I find out from John Cross, as soon as he calls me or emails me or whatever, I will tell you how the community is doing as far as the Bears go. Until that time, I don't have any information for you. But I can tell you right now, as far as the weather goes, here in the United States, we are going to be facing some really tough times. You think right now is wacky. You wait till March. You wait till spring starts. If El Nino is still there in spring, it's really going to make a mess of everything. I'm not kidding you. Let's talk about global warming. Let's talk about the climate change. I don't know if you really know much about what's going on with climate change. Besides, you hear what all the people in Paris are talking about with Agenda 2030. They went from Agenda 21 to Agenda 2030. A lot of the stuff that they are basing it upon is the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, the IPCC. Documentation is confirming that the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change is full of merity. And if you need to know what that means, it comes out of your butt. Okay? Everything that they have based it on has no confirmed results. In fact, the amount of carbon dioxide that human beings have produced so far in the last 100 years has only risen the temperature by 0.100th of a degree Celsius in 100 years. 100th of a degree Celsius. And yet we still act as if global warming is still happening. It has ended around 2000. No, I gotta remember. I remember it's just so many dates I keep. I'm surprised I keep half this stuff organized in my head. Around 2007, just to give a date, just to throw a date out there, we have seen. Actually, you said about 14 years. 2001, 14 years ago, was when global warming kind of plateaued up there, okay, at its highest point. And now the events leading to global or after global warming are returning back to homeostasis, back to the normal, because it's a cyclic event. Yet you got people like Abomination there trying to tell you that he wants to cut American fossil fuel consumption and production and use for the electric power grid. And he wants us to go completely on, or up to 70% of our energy being generated by renewable energy. There's nothing wrong with renewable energy, except for one very realistic issue. The renewable energy, it's not practical to store it. I mean, the sun only shines in the day, okay? So that means that during the day, yeah, we need moisture, right? The solar can complement the fossil fuel power plants. And then in the nighttime, the wind may blow or it may not blow. And so, the same thing with the day. So you may have days when you may have a lot of wind to charging your batteries, or not enough wind to charge your batteries. But the problem is the batteries, because battery technology has not improved significantly enough to bring the price per kilowatt down to be feasible. We're already running into problems now with our cell phones. How in the blazes are we going to power a whole home off a battery? I know Tesla is working on that to make a home battery system, which would be great with utilities. The problem is that because of the nature of inconsistency of the solar and the wind, and in fact, like right now, it's overcast. There's no solar power generated today because there's no sun. It's clouds. We're in the Northeast. The Northeast is, in the wintertime, is terrible for solar. It doesn't make any sense. You cannot depend on solar power in the Northeast because the Northeast in the wintertime does not get enough sun to make it practical. So instead of focusing on the real concerns, like a lot of the smart people are, Abomination is sitting there and he's talking about how we need to reduce our carbon footprint, how we need to stop burning fossil fuels, how we need to go with little LEDs and CFLs. CFLs are terrible, by the way, but the LEDs are okay. I don't have a problem when I got one LED in the switch in the ceiling here. But what I'm trying to say is, everything I'm seeing is a bullshit story. And the reality is that, number one, we're going to need our incandescent light bulbs because in a few years, okay, the amount of heat, at least they're going into a climate change. Oh, there is a climate change. Oh, but ACBCC, thinking about this one. It's called global cooling. Don't you love that word? Global cooling. However, there's a problem. It's not going to be consistent right away. He says there's going to be little warm spots and cold spots. And finally, once the Earth reaches homeostasis and the Earth cools down completely because this is a big place, then everybody's going to wish to God that they had those 300-watt incandescent bulbs blazing heat and light to provide with their artificial sun. That's why I use these 300-watt bulbs. They produce heat, which is nice while I'm here in the studio. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Even though I don't like the electric bill very much. Okay? And at the same time, okay, they produce a tremendous amount of light, which the LED equivalent of these bulbs is just not worth it. We already talked about that once before. Now, here's just the truth. The electric power companies are seen to be bipolar. Why? Well, there's one side they're like, well, we're a business. We make money selling electricity. So we want people to use electricity because that means that's how we make money. Because for every kilowatt hour a person uses more, we need a certain amount of power to keep our generators running properly in frequency, and we also need enough revenue coming in to keep in mind the need for the linemen and linewomen and the switchgear people and everything else. If everybody goes to low energy, highly efficient, low energy light sources, they're not going to spend as much money on electricity. So to make up for the loss of consumption, we have to increase the price of the units that they're buying. I price my electricity, when you add in all the bullshit that comes with it, the taxes and everything else, it's about 22.4 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, 22.4 cents per kilowatt hour is pretty high. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm scared stuff. It scares me. And the fact is that even if I was just burning a single LED light bulb, which I usually just have the one on in the ceiling, I still have to pay a godforsaken huge price on my electric bill because of that one bulb. And I used to be able to pay for having incandescent bulbs in my home and having these, and a good light source, a clean light source, and that also provided me with warmth and heat. This is ridiculous The whole system is stupid. And the idea of trying to tell everybody that we should get rid of coal burning power plants completely and go for just renewable energy, I don't have a problem. I have no problem with renewable energy, but during the non-wind or non-solar period, you need a battery. The battery technology, as I said, is just not there yet. We have not got the kind of batteries that are going to make money and store enough energy per density, okay? Per unit, density is measured in this case of the weight of battery given for the amount of storage, okay? Now we know lithium ion is pretty good. That's what's in this thing. I don't like the fact that Apple in their infinite wisdom decided to put this battery internal to the phone, and I can't take it out and put the battery separately in the charger, or I can't have a couple spares that I could drop in as needed. Unlike my BlackBerry is a separate battery. Another thing too, let's talk about that in a second, but let me get back to this. Because of the fact is that there is no long-term storage for power for the kind of the energy you need for a larger city that can be stored in a battery bank big enough to provide power for all the homes and businesses in the community. That's not going to work. That's where you need to have a backup source energy. Fossil fuel is good for that. It's a good steady source of energy. Be it natural gas, heating oil, coal, wood, garbage. That's a renewable energy that is renewable in a sense. At least it's more likely to be a good resource because, let's be honest, we throw a lot of stuff out, don't we? Bio-waste, biogas from syngas from poop, cow manure, which is still poop, chicken poop. Doesn't really make as much, but the heck with it. But solar and wind by itself is just not going to cut it. Now, Germany is using an experimental fusion reactor to produce power. How well is it working? I don't know. I haven't really read up on it yet. But it's still, I really should look into that. Now, let's get to the cell phone business. I wanted to talk about this. Apple and some of the newer Samsung. I'm going to talk to you. Because I think this is a great point. I'm going to see this phone in this case so I can at least show you the actual phone. This is an iPhone 4S. It's pretty sick by today's spec. Okay? It has an internal battery. You cannot remove the thing in there. Okay? And the thing I have my personal dislike with this phone because of that reason. Why can't I have a battery I can remove? Okay? Why shouldn't I be able to take the battery out and buy a couple extras if I choose to, and then have a few spares I can plop in as needed, instead of having this phone being... I have to bring it to the store because it's got these little tiny pentaprobe screws on them. And yeah, it does. It doesn't have regular screws. God, trust me, knows that these things are ugly. But, and then Samsung's doing the same thing. And not only that, but they're also making the phones thinner. Why do you have to make the phones thinner? I would think with all the technology that you're cramming into these phones, because the battery is not getting any better, wouldn't it make sense to keep the battery the same, if not bigger size, possibly removable, so that you can have at least a longer runtime? See, my BlackBerry has an extended runtime battery. It's an aftermarket battery. It plugs into the back of the phone, and it will run the phone for a freaking long time. And it does. I love it. I really do. In fact, I have to be honest. If I could do the same thing with my iPhone, I would be absolutely positively ecstatic. I can't, because the phone is not a removable battery. So I have to come up with these battery packs that plug into the phone and plug into it. It's like a case that's got a battery built into this case. It's kind of stupid. At least, if you're going to have a battery fucking in the back of the fucking phone, couldn't you at least make it so I can take the whole original battery out? Especially when its battery is, it's getting old. It's dying out. You want to get a new battery? Get a new battery, plop it in there, and go. And if you need to have a couple spares, that's what you need. We had a loose connection, so you didn't get a chance to hear the end of the video. So let me just kind of say I kind of got into a little bit of political rant and raving. So maybe it was just because you didn't have to hear it anyway. What I said earlier about the International Panel on Climate Change is very true, and I am very much thinking that people including Obama and his bullshit, his socialism, his crap is absolutely positively out of touch with reality. I think the problem with Congress in general is out of touch because they're all lawyers. They're not the average individuals who have to struggle with everyday needs. I mean, they're white collar people. They live in the high offices and business suits, and they're law firms and stuff like that. So they're not really very skilled at understanding the low-income people. So unfortunately, you didn't get a chance to hear me espouse about what I felt about those people on disability and stuff, how I feel that we're getting the shaft. But I will say is that there are, I kind of really wish you'd hear it. I really will. So let me see if I can try to rehash what you did miss. Our government has got a very strange idea of what they consider priorities. We live in a society in the United States, which this is not a socialist country. This is primarily operated as an oligarchy, based corporate rule, corporate operation, corporate government. It's not perfect. It's got problems. It's got big problems. But the one mistake that people kind of tend to think is that we try to, President Johnson's 1965 act that was to create Americans' disability programs in their Title IV was a great idea. But the problem is that the people who actually wrote the laws are lawyers, and they have very little knowledge of what really it takes to live if you're disabled on a fixed income. The income requirement or available options is just not enough to the average person to live. The average person, for example, here in Connecticut is about $700 a month, and that's not without even dealing with heat and hot water and cooking fuel and all that. In fact, in Connecticut, electricity is mandatory. If you are on the disability check, you only get about $700 average a month, which means you pay your rent, but you have no food to eat. So then you end up eating garbage, and then you wonder why you get fat, and because you're eating processed food that's bad for you. And the problem is that people in Washington do not have any understanding of what's really going on, because they think that you're doing okay. You're not, but they think you're doing okay. And it's a real tragedy because it's absolutely positively, they're totally out of touch with what's going on. And yet you got these kind of people sitting there in Paris, and they're talking about something that's totally bullshit. We're talking about intergovernmental panel on climate change. Yeah, there's climate change, but it's not what they're talking about. They're talking about global warming, but that's not what we're going to see. The global warming ended a couple years ago. About 2001, the temperatures has dropped so much that now they're starting to say, well, there's still climate change, but now it's not going to be global warming, it's going to be global cooling. Yet, they keep still talking about that 1%, or that 0.01%, like I said earlier. When you see the amount of damage that they've done, it hurts the poor, especially the fixed income people who don't have the money to pay 22.4 cents per kilowatt hour. It's just ridiculous. And And yet they always so worry about the elderly, and they're talking about how much they're worried about the elderly keeping their checks. What about the poor? Remember the 1965 program on the health care system act, which has to do with Medicare, HCFA, has nothing to do with retiring income. That's a completely separate program that is operated by Centers for Medicare and the Social Security Administration. It does not get money from the Retirement Trust Fund. That money is a separately appointed account specifically for the disabled. But then you got lawyers like Binder and all these other lawyers and trying to take advantage of the system to give people the benefits, which, let's be honest, they're not that much. And you sit there and you're watching the account get dwindled away. Congress isn't even thinking about the disabled. They don't want to talk about us because we're the lowest in the caste. They don't want to deal with us. But we have the highest proportion of our income going out to expenses. No wonder why these people, I'm talking about the people in my income bracket, can't get ahead. Of course you can't. Because if you try to go get a job, the program that was supposed to be a supplement, kind of like SNAP, better known as food stamps, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, has become the Solitary Nutrition Assistance Program. In other words, for most people on SNAP, it is their primary source of food money. And those people are finding themselves having to eat food that is very unhealthy because that's all they can afford. Well, if you're trying to get a job and you're on disability, you could find your entire check gone just because you got a job, if you're lucky enough to find one. This is the kind of thing that I was getting a lot more emotional about in the earlier video. And I hope that this will help to answer why the video ended and the time it did, because I did not mean to end it there. It's just that the microphone decided it was enough, which we fixed. The microphone it's a loose connection in the XLR plug. I also talked about the weather. I'm not going to go through that again, but let me just do the point out to you that it may. Temperatures for Monday look like they're going to warm up to about 9 degrees Celsius, okay? But it might rain in the evening. So we may find that it's possible, depending on how it goes, that the event may end up being scrubbed. Okay? We won't know until closer to Monday if it's going to be scrubbed. If it is scrubbed, I'm going to let you know as soon as I can, and I hope it won't be. If it does get scrubbed, then we'll bring the ritual inside, which should be fine because it's easier to do in the house anyway. It's a lot less stress on my part. But I really want to do this outside. I'm really looking forward to it. Hey, did you know there's a lot more going on right now at our websites? Are you watching all 4 of them? If not, check them out. There's a list right here. We got 3 YouTube channels and 1 audio-only channel for your enjoyment. So come on, dig in and see all the stuff we do here at the North American Snow Queen Palace.